Hello, everybody. It is me, Martinez-Bateman. I am the CEO of New Coyote Consulting. We are an equity and communications firm here in the Pacific Northwest, and I am coming at you from the conference room to you, at you, from the conference room, because we have a full house here today. It is Tuesday, February 18th. It's the day after President's Day, and the energy for me, and I think for a lot of people, has really changed from last week to this week. As you know, or may not know, on President's Day, there were millions and millions and millions of people that protested in hundreds, if not thousands, of different protests and events nationwide yesterday on President's Day. I feel so energized by that. I feel brought back to life by seeing my community stand in solidarity together, hand in hand. The way I feel about politics right now is whoever you voted for, whatever happened to you, whatever you believed in or thought prior to January 20th of this year, I don't give a shit. If you and me are together against this administration, against them dismantling every single federal protection for every single group, if we are against them taking all these illegal steps to dismantle our democracy, we can fight later. We can fight when we have a government again. But until then, this person is my sibling. This person is my brother. Like, we have got to work together. All of us hate this. Every single one of us. Except for the ones that are doing the crimes. Everybody fucking hates this shit. And I feel really galvanized in that. That being said, as we continue to go forward and try to find places of resistance and try to find places to preserve what we already have, the gains that we've already given, a lot of people are wondering, what are we going to do when we lose clients, lose funding, lose contracts, lose jobs, especially people who have been working in the field of advancing equity? And here's what I will say. This, while horrible and unprecedented, is not actually that unfamiliar for us. Right? Especially I'm talking to nonprofit workers, justice workers, anyone who has been trying to paradigm shift in the US for any length of time. We know we already live in a horrific situation. We already live in a world where people can't get clean water, good healthy food, medical care, education, access to trauma healing, housing, gender justice, reproductive health. All of these things are things that must be paid for by someone, whether that is a government program, which is not likely to be, right? Or it is a wealthy donor, or it is a fund that is managed by people who are thinking about preserving wealth and preserving capitalism, despite how much harm it does. We already live in an environment where it is true, real, factual, legal, regardless of what the leadership is doing, right? We already live in an environment where some people die because they can't get insulin. Some people die because they can't get access to food or medical care. Very simple things that everyone should have, that our government has every means of being able to provide and instead does not do that, right? So we were not swimming in wonderful support before this happened. And it is true that it's getting worse. It is true that there's going to be more loss. It is true that there's going to be more harm for our service populations, for the people that we work with, for the people that we believe in, for the communities that we belong to. That's not something I'm gonna, that's obvious, right? That's not something I'm gonna try to bright side you on. That's not something I'm gonna try to get all delulu and be like, no, it's great. It's not great. But the thing is, it wasn't great already. We already had a situation where we had to beg. We had to erect entire fundraising departments in our nonprofits, in our universities, in our fucking preschools to try and get these services to the people who should have them, right? if we want to live in a world where there is health, prosperity, wealth, all of these things, community, family, time for spiritualism, time for hobbies and crafts, all this stuff, then we should have been educating, feeding, housing, etc., the people who need it. And we weren't. We never have. So that means that we're already super good at operating in an environment where we are being choked for resources. That's where we started. That's where we grew our careers. That's where we learned how to fucking get up after we've been knocked back down. And being able to get up after being knocked back down is something that this administration does not know how to do. None of these people who are robbing our treasury and doing illegal shit at the national level know how to deal with adversity. But we do. And yeah, they're turning the fucking knob up because they think that that's going to kill us. But they, having not experienced adversity themselves, don't realize that we were forged in this. Every single failure, every single loss that we have ever experienced in our life, in our careers, personal, professional, whatever, has led us to this point, has brought us to a space where we can navigate this. You just turn up the heat and we get more heat resistant, right? And I'm not saying it's not gonna be lost, there is. But there is already loss and we already know how to mitigate it. And all we have to do is continue to roll with the punches and skill up and jettison anything that doesn't serve us. If we still find in our organization that we are oriented towards a false white supremacist view of professionalism, we have to quit that. If we are seeing in our organization that we are finding that we spend more time in conflict with one another than figuring out how to collaboratively work for our service populations and for our clients, we've got to quit that. Right? We got to let go of this shit and move forward. That is how we're going to survive this, and I know that we are going to. That being said, Decolonizing Management starts next week. Decolonizing Management is my 12-week management course to help progressive organizations figure out how to work together to solve problems and manage issues. Please sign up for Decolonizing Management. If you need a break, there's already a significant break for people who are paying for the course themselves or for organizations that have less than $250,000 in their budget. If you look at that number and you know, I don't have that shit right now, email me. Email me, fill out the form, put it in the notes. We can talk about it, we can work it out. This course is going to be essential to how to work together to pivot in this meteor strike blitz that the administration is pulling against anyone who cares about anyone in this nation. And we're going to learn tactics on how to manage that kind of chaos. All right. I'll put the link in the description. Have a walk, have a lunch, have a weekend. Don't work for free. Stay strong. Don't act like you haven't been through hell before. You have. It sucks that this is a new hell. I'm mad about it too. But we are strong. We are strong together. We can get through this.